Good morning, everybody. Jayy here with another War of the Visions video, and today I want to do a video following up kind of my elemental tier list with a video that talks about what I think are each element's strongest mono element team right now in global. Like if I had to build one team for each element and I could win a bunch of money for winning with that team, I'll talk about what that team would be for me, and then, maybe you can use that to help build some teams, or just think this is fun and interesting. Now, speaking of fun and interesting, Baby Jayy wanted to show all of you guys his new cosplay. He did his first cosplay ever. He named it Hecarim Ganks the Mid Lane. Baby Jayy's a big League of Legends fan, so check out his Hecarim cosplay right here. Yeah, that was terrifying. I think he nailed it, and I don't think anybody could see that and not be just scared to death. Okay, now that we've got that taken care of, let's go check out these team comps, and let me kind of explain to you how I did this real fast. First of all, I clicked on a unit, and then I just went right down the line. So we're going to go Fire, Ice, Wind, Earth, Lightning, Water, Light, and Dark. Now, some of the elements, I actually don't have everything I would use to build it, or I don't have everything built up, but I'll still talk about what they are. And if I do have them built up, I'll show them off in a fight. So, we're starting with Fire. Now, I think Fire's in a really unique spot. I think it's a very weak spot, but at the top end, I think you can make some usable teams. And so here, let me show you what I think is strong with Fire. I'm running a double tank comp with Classy Glassy. Now, in this comp, Mont is my real tank. You can see I would have him geared out to tank everything. Rain, I have as a tanky DPS, high damage bruiser unit. And I'm putting Rain in this group on Red Mage sub, just to let him get a little bit more damage in there. And then maybe instead of Knight's Pride for the Spirit, I might run something like, Mage's Protection to get a little more magic resist. You could play around, but I do think Intensifying Power is important because this is his DPS buff for this build, so I want to run that. I think Fire's best vision card is this one. I think it's the Encounter of Heroes. It's a magic and accuracy card that gives slash attack resist. Because I think Fire is so tank heavy, I think if you have Encounter of Heroes, I think you can build a successful Fire team right now, even into the light meta, or there's just the heavy slash. We have a lot of slash in the game right now. It's probably just a lot of Starlight Elena and a tank, but there's a lot of slash out there. For King Mont, I just go full tank. He's as tanky as possible. And then your third unit for me is going to be Classy Glassy. I just have her build all the way damage. I give her the glasses for some Spirit Pin and accuracy. I let her build a shield with her TMR. And then I want to talk about her vision card. I don't actually recommend Typhoon right here. I have that on, but what I recommend here is whatever else your group needs. Say it's too slow and you want to run some accuracy, look for a card like Black Rose of the Battlefield that gives it agility to your group while giving the magic stat that you need to do damage. Alternatively, if you just wanted to boost her and Rain's damage a little more, you could run something like a Trousseau for just magic attack up. In this case, I'll go ahead and run Trousseau, get that magic attack up, and hopefully we can come in here and beat down some teams. My tank, Mont, should be good against any type of damage, so let's go find a fight and see how this team does. Okay, now when you're picking arena fights, right, you're going to look for teams that at least have some of the element you counter. In this case, this team does have a couple ice units in Dwayne. A pretty potent team, right? Gilgamesh, Valentine's Day, Selir, Dwayne. A team that looks like it was probably built to take on a lot of the wind meta right now. So I'm going to go ahead and fight that. Don't feel bad about fighting counter teams in arena if your goal is to win. That seems to just make sense, but this is really a video to show off, what I think these team comps should do. So in this team, Glaciella can really kind of just take care of herself in this team. Mont will build hate and hopefully keep people kind of away from Glassy. Rain, I'm running with a TMR buff that gives him slash attack, which he likes, and gives light and dark resist to the tank. With all the light and dark units out there, I feel like that's a worthy buff. And then note that Mont can get around the map pretty well. He has separated from the group nicely. He's going to draw over the hate, and he didn't take basically any damage right there from Gilgamesh. Okay, Salir's going to hit him. She hits a little harder, 3,500 damage. Mont returns the favor with an iron blow. Dwayne, who's a very good tank busting unit, gets in there and hits him back. Now, Rain is struggling to do much for me right here. I have his hate buff turned off. I should have turned on, by the way, his ice resist buff. That would have been real useful right here, but let's see if he and Glassy can take out Dwayne. Dwayne has killed Glassy. There's Rain with Soul Prominence, his best damaging move. It does not quite kill Dwayne, but Rain's a nice, thick bruiser. He's channeling a spell. He's going to hit Fyra on Dwayne, and we win. So this team's really easy. I say really hard. It's really easy to execute. You have a big tank. You have a high damage, medium high damage, high HP character in Rain, and a very high damage with Glassy. Oh, I don't have to say that for the rest of the video, thank God. That's my favorite fire team right now. It can work. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so next on my list is Ice. Now, Ice is an element that I've invested some in, but I have not invested in what I think are the strongest characters in Ice. Basically, I'm just not done building Fryevia yet, and I think she is a great character in this game. And then I think Valentine's Day Salir is Ice's best character. So I would really suggest a group that ran a combination of them. I also do like Eterna Puritas if you have it maxed out, because it's going to give you wind resist, which is nice, and then slash attack resistance up. I think having slash resist up is really important if you have tanks right now. And so you can see I just go full tank Fryevia. I would mix in a high magic stat Esper right here. I would have Salir in the group, and then I think it's kind of wide open for Ice's third unit. Like, you have strong options like Laswell if you have his card maxed out for some good agility. RNA is a super high damage unit, so is Orin. Gilgamesh can get in there and drop some quickens. You have a ton of options with Ice. What Ice kind of lacks is maybe like a pure support unit. You're getting that from your tank though. So with Ice, if I was going to build a team right now with what I have to win with Ice, and I'm going to like pretend that I have the level 120 Fryevia, I would probably mix in the Laswell to help with speed, and then I would give Laswell his vision card. Gives that agility, acquired AP up. I like that on him and Fryevia. Maneater upon physical attacks, I like that for him, and I think that's a fun mix. This would be my group. Now, I'm not going to show off a fight with this one because I'm just pretending like I could play this group. So Ice is going to be a little bit of a short segment in this video. That's okay. The video's going to be plenty long because most of these I can show off. Now, after Ice comes Wind. And with Wind, voila. This is my current guild battle team. This team destroys things. It just wrecks. Joom was exactly what Wind needed. Wind has great supports. I think the best one is Halloween Little Leela. If you didn't have her, you could mix in an Ayaka. And then I think Winter Luarth is top tier, a top tier DPS in this game. Alternatively, you have really good options in Wind with Varouche, 2B, Tifa. Although it was great for PvE. I haven't tried out Lucia yet, but I do think top of the list would be Luartha or Varouche. Now, why I choose Luartha over Varouche right now is she brings a really important buff to this group, and that's Masterful Melody, which is a missile attack resistant accuracy buff. So missile attack going to be really good against those Jaden teams out there. Accuracy going to be really good against Elena, Starlight Elena, and the other Wind teams out there that might be running Wind Evasion. I think this team is stronger than the Joom Tifa 2B team, not by leaps and bounds, but it's much more consistent. It's basically hard for me not to get 6 stars in Guild Wars with this team, as long as I'm not fighting Ice teams. That's basically the trick. You can swap out gear and espers on Joom to make her more defensive, more defense oriented, more spirit oriented. Her TMR buff gives her both defense and spirit. She's insane, and Halloween Little Leela can just do all the things. So if we're going to look for a fight with this team, obviously we could go try and find an earth team to take down, but we can also target light teams with this comp. Okay, whoops, had to cut back in. I forgot to change my Joom out of raid mode, so she just casts no buffs. So here we go, still gonna fight a light team. This time we have Leonhart here, we got a Summer Killfay, Elena, Jaden. Very high damage team, lots of slashing, lots of missile. Let's see what we can do. Now, a lot of times the light teams that you find, instead of having that Summer Killfay, will have like a Yuna or an Engelbert. I think the Yuna or Engelbert is just as strong, if not stronger of an option. But I think I'm gonna show off still what this comp is meant to do. Now, light teams really, really good at buffing. On the Guild Wars map, Winter Luartha right there will run to Joom and cast that accuracy and missile resist buff. A kind of weakness of this current map is that there's those blocks kind of in between the units. So if you don't have a big jump number, it's a little bit hard to get over there. But notice how Little Leela is able to snipe Jaden right here. Little Leela brings a lot of damage from a really long range and then backs it up with healing later. Winter Luartha, same thing. A lot of damage, very long range. And this comp almost plays like a ranged comp. Now, unfortunately, Little Leela does get too close to Joom right there, and I had her TMR buff turned off for some reason. She should have re-raise on, or maybe she got in range. It doesn't matter. We still won, and it really wasn't close. This is a heavy, heavy damage team with a super thick tank. Big range, big damage, healing to back you up. Make sure you have your TMR buffs turned on, and make sure your units are in like raid mode, like what I messed up on earlier. I think that team I just showed off is one of the strongest teams in the game. It's right up there with those Starlight, Elena, Jaden teams. And in fact, it beats them. It's probably the strongest team comp in the game, in my opinion right now. That's what I would run if I had to put my money on one comp. Okay, let's go next. Alright, next up is Earth, my original favorite element in this game. I'm just as big of a fan as Wind now, but Earth is still like, has a special place in my heart. And notice how hard it was for me to not put Eileen in this comp, but I'm trying to make the best one possible. So, let me talk about Earth for a minute. And if we look at Earth's roster, what you'll notice here is like you have a couple kind of tanks, like that's what I'm going to call like a Moraga and Winter Venera. Like I think they're kind of tanks, but I don't think they're true tanks. What I actually think you have with Earth is mostly just a bunch of really high damage bruisers that are super annoying to kill. You have a lot of like Immortal Spirits, re-raise, like all of these buffs that make it so you have to kill them twice on a bunch of units that have a lot of HP, a lot of defensive stats, and do a bunch of damage. So Earth, in my opinion, is an element that likes to come at you, say we're tough to kill, and you got to kill us multiple times. You can also build some evade in there, but if I had to build one Earth team to like go beat anything else right now, this would be it. And I think I would get some pushback on the Zombie Ryryu pick. I think he's severely underrated. And he gives Earth some magic damage, so it's harder to be tanked with just defense or something. So I would go Zombie Ryryu, Oberon, and you are Zazon. Now, Oberon does not have any, revives in this build or anything like that, but he's a big, thick boy. He's got 8,700 HP, 31 defense, 19 spirit. Azure Dragoon armor is really good. And he's going to be in the air sometimes, which makes him hard to target. He does a ton of damage. Zazon obviously has re-raise and courage. I'm going to make sure his TMR buff in this comp is turned off so he can cast both his re-raise and courage. You want him in his paladin sub for that. And then Zombie Ryryu, you also want him in paladin sub for the courage buff, and you want him wearing his TMR, in my opinion, with that on. So as they're closing the gap, they can put their We Don't Die buffs on. Oberon will be running towards the enemy too, doing a bunch of damage. I think this team is very, very hard to beat in a one-on-one, like just one-off. The drawback of this team, in my opinion, is it can be, I think it's a team that in a Guild Wars situation is probably good for 3 stars against most comps. Like you could change the gear up a little bit, go more spirit, go more defense, go more accuracy, and you'll probably go win one fight. The problem with Earth, in my opinion, is the second Guild Wars fight is kind of rough. if you take the time to get your buffs on and stuff, like what this team wants to do, you end up really lacking those buffs in your second fight. Like Courage, there, it's a one use, he's used it, it's gone, he gets nuked by Helena, he lives, there's re-raise and Courage on Zazan, that's great. Ryu gets sniped out, he's still alive. Okay, here we go, now it's our turn to do damage back. Oberon, 5400 damage, Ryu, Spell Breacher, 6800, Ellen is dead, Zazan's moving in, Noctis does kill Ryu, so Ryu sort of tanked in a way, if you kind of see what I'm talking about, with all the times they had to hit him to kill him. Zazan's closing the gap. He 100% wins this duel with Dwayne. Like, yes, Dwayne just, oh wait, Dwayne has the removal. I take it back. Dwayne sniped him. The re-raise removal, that's a weakness of the element. Okay, Oberon, can you do it for us? Don't make me a liar, Oberon. Oberon kills Noctis. Oberon has his 3-hit shield, so he's a tanky boy. He does not get disabled. He kills Dwayne, and we win the fight. Like, I'm not pre-screening these fights, you guys. We're just running in here and fighting. So, this comp, what did we see? Well, we saw you have to kill a lot of these units multiple times. You also are hard to kill. Nobody got one shot. And Oberon, like, special shout out to Oberon's shield for helping keep him alive. Maybe a weakness of this comp that I think just got exposed is things like Courage remove or re-raise remove, which could like really nerf somebody like you are Zazan. I should have thought of that when I saw the Dwayne. I didn't anticipate it. Like, Dwayne is really a good unit. So he took that off. We still won. We still won, even though we caught a surprise. But like I said, if we had to go to a second Guild Wars fight with this, what do we got? A half HP Oberon? Probably not going to do a lot for you. Anyway, this is my favorite Earth comp right now. There you go. Let's go to the next element. Let's just keep it rolling. We're just going to roll right on. So, next up, what's after Earth? Let's head back into party formation here. And after Earth is Lightning, which they did not give me enough. I can't add that G, can I? No, max units of 8. So we're going Lightning. It's Lightning. Now, Lightning is also in a pretty interesting spot in my opinion. My favorite comp for Lightning right now is Ibarra, Charlotte, Cloud. So if we look at Lightning, why these 3 units? Well, Lightning also lacks a dedicated support. I think we're at a spot in the game right now where having a big thick tank is really nice. And a lot of times when you have a big thick tank, having a nice healer that can kind of chill back a little bit, provide them some HP, and let like one hyper carry pop off is really strong. Cloud and Ibarra could both be that hyper carry, but where's my healer? I mean, like, sure, there's some units in here that can heal if we dip down into the MR level, but I'm trying to build the strongest comp possible. So with Lightning, what I like to do is make a super tanky Charlotte. Like, look at these stats walking into the fight. 9100 HP, 19 defense, 56 spirit, and you could, like, swap your gear around to change those stats up a little bit. You could also swap in a different Esper. I'm running an Esper on her to give her some more resist, so we have 44 slash resist, 30 missile resist. Feeling good about that, especially into those Ellen and Jaden teams. And then what I like to do is just go 2 hyper carries. I say, look, enemy team, you're going to have to work Charlotte over as best you can. And I'm assuming that by the time you're done with that, Cloud and Ibarra will have killed everybody. Now, again, don't fight Earth. Don't fight Earth. If you are lucky enough to find water, which I'll just bet I don't find a water team scrolling through this. Yeah, there's no water team on here. Shocking. But you could try to fight like a light team with this. So here we go. Here's Elena, Jaden, Fina. Uh-oh, whoops, hold on. Back in time just a second. I got into a fight and realized that I had a tracked wall turned off. I'm going to go ahead and turn a tracked wall back on because I want my tank to pull aggro. Really important. Got into a fight, was like, oh no. And yeah, I got run over. So, okay. Let's do this fight live now. We could really fight about any element that we want. This is an evasion team right here. Cloud, really good into evasion. And Ibarra has the glasses on in this comp that give her Spirit Pit and also give her a bunch of accuracy. So I'm not terribly scared of evasion teams. Where this could go wrong is one, you could forget to turn, hate buff onto your tank. That will make it go wrong really fast. But I have that on this time. So we're going to get our hate up. But where we could still go wrong is if Ibarra or Cloud ends up really, really close to Charlotte. and the enemy team does a bunch of AoE. So you don't want to get AoE down, that's always a risk. Now there's Ibarra buffing up her damage, there's Cloud popping his AP regeneration and defense pin, Charlotte this time casts her hate buff, which is really nice, and we're about to engage. So 2B walks forward, out of range, there's a courage buff for Tifa. Ibarra's going to get in range to do damage early, actually before she has her shield on. So I don't know if I love that. She's going to end up overextended. And yeah, she's going to get punished for that. Now, she doesn't get one shot, because one thing about Ibarra and about Cloud, honestly, is that they're both tanky enough, like just tanky enough that they don't typically get one shot, which is really nice, but they both do enough damage to one shot a lot of enemies. So you just kind of saw that play out. We have enough accuracy to hit this evasion team. Ibarra does eventually go down, but Cloud could just step over there, kill Tifa, we win the fight. Was it clean? No, it was not clean. Ideally, especially in a Guild Wars situation, you would love to have all 3 of your units left alive with some way of restoring some of the HP that you lost in the first fight. So once again, I think this, kind of like Earth, is a team that could be really strong for going and getting you 3 stars in Guild Wars, or picking you up arena wins basically against anybody besides Earth. If you have to fight a second consecutive fight and don't get to reset, I think you'd be in a bad spot. So anyway, that's Lightning. Okay, and my favorite Lightning team. I really like that team a lot, by the way. It's really explosive, lots of damage, super fun. Next up is Water. Now, Water is in a really weak spot, in my opinion, right now. Not as weak as Fire, but I don't love Water's place in the game. If we look at their roster, I think you have a really good support in Aerith. I think you have really good magic damage dealers with Summer, Elsie, and more. Miranda, mix her in there. Ildira's going to get an EX soon enough. I think Winter Victoria at level 120 is also really strong, but I don't see a tank. I just don't see a tank in here. And so what I end up running is something like Titus or Summer Elsie as sort of like a high damage bruiser that can gather some hate. I'm going to just ignore tanking with this comp, and I'm going to go for a high damage Water comp that I think can tank or take some hits from something, sort of like what Earth can do, and then hopefully give back harder than they get, with a lot of really good supporting going on. So what do I mean by a lot of really good supporting? Aerith has her magic shield from her white mage sub, lots of heals. She has a defense and spirit buff she can give out, so I really like that. Titus has Hastiga, really strong haste buff. Then he can give himself a shield with Paladin, so I'm gonna run him out there. I'll stick with Suncrest for now on this build. I want that damage. So Titus, go kill things. So in theory, Titus and Aerith will give each other haste and a magic shield, then go run at the enemy. Moore is a very dang good unit, you guys. She can just take care of herself, gives herself a magic shield, gives herself spirit, or gives herself shell. I'm running Joom's TMR on her. Let me make sure that's turned on, so she can give herself a defense and spirit buff as well. She can also buff her damage. So I'm just counting on her to do her own thing and take care of any mage. That's her job. Let's see how it plays out. Now, we want to fight not Lightning. Lightning's a thing we want to avoid. In fact, we're really looking for something we can tank with Spirit. Here is an example of this. Now, this is a very high damage team from X-Riptic right here. I don't have a good feeling. I have a hard time with my Water squad finding a fight that I really feel super confident about, unless I find a Fire team. Well, there's not a lot of Fire teams running around right now, and that's one of the things I think hurts Water a little bit. But this is still a good team. If you build this team, I'm sure you can find something to beat. Let's see if we can beat this. Titus is going to start the fight off by doing his TMR buff, so there's his shell. Aerith magic shields herself. We might end up in range of the enemy a little bit too fast for Titus to be hasting people. We'll find out. Jaden's moving forward. Titus is going to look for a buff right here. He's only going to get himself. He's going to give himself the haste. So, not an ideal setup, really not an ideal map, in my opinion, for this group. This map can be kind of awkward. Titus still looking to share his haste buff. This time he will successfully share it with Moore, so we got a lot of damage coming at us. Jaden gets absolutely popped by Moore, so that's what I like from her. She's taking care of herself, she's killing another unit. Meanwhile, Aerith, we need to go help Aerith, everybody. Like, Sephiroth is coming. We need to go help our girl. Let's see if we can do it. Heart like needles, really strong buff from Mor. Yuna moves up. Space Chicken kills Tidus. That's a problem. Holy Prayer is going to be very, very useful right here. That spirit buff, really going to help. There's punishment onto Aerith. She's still hanging in there. It's Yuna's turn, looking for that full life. Aerith, healing. More. Do something more. Do something. Oh my god, they're full lifing Jaden. Somehow, Omega Huge Brain Yuna went from one side of the map to the other to bring Jaden back to life, and now, you guys, we're in trouble. Aerith at least did have re-raise, so she can heal some more. Oh gosh, casting time ruins us. Not an instant cast spell from Mor, so she does not kill Elena. We're going to get chained down, and we're going to lose this fight. So, this video is not going to be perfect. We're not going to win every one of our fights, but in theory, I still do like this water comp a lot. Maybe there's a more professional water player out there with a better water comp than me. I like the parts in water. Like, water as a mono element comp I don't really love, but I think one thing you can do with water if you just really like it is if you just mixed a tank into this group, I think it would have been fine, right? If you just took Tidus out of this, you can run Aerith, Joom, Mor. I've had a ton of success with Aerith, Joom, Mor, because Joom's out here not getting killed. So that's my thought on water. That's my favorite water comp. Let's go to next, and next is light. Now I've named this comp F Light because that's how I feel about it, but I'm not going to do a fight. I'm not going to debase myself enough to run an actual light team. We've seen us fight them a million times, but I will talk about a little bit because I think there's some variations to this. The core, in my opinion, of the current best light team is Jaden, and Starlight Elena. I think the third person is really mix and matchable. If you're running Yuna, you get the added element of like Bahamut in here for more agility, which will help Starlight Elena get some dodges. She's pretty dang evasive, especially with her card. Jaden, lots of range, lots of AoE, big damage. His weakness is he's one-shottable, especially by like longer range units like Winter Luartha. You can help overcome that by like moving him over to slot 1, for example, and having Yuna re-raise him. That'll give a re-raise here and a courage here. Starlight Elena has courage for herself, and that's really strong. If you don't want to run Yuna or you don't have her, you have really good other options as well. You can go a tank, specifically a 120 Engelbert, if you have it, is insanely strong in this game right now. You could also do a 120 Fina if you have that. I don't have either on my account, but those are really, really strong. And then alternatively, you could do something like Summer Kilfei, Warrior of Light, Rob, if you really want to go evade, you could run Rob. But I think the core of the strongest light team in the game right now is a Jaden, Elena, something. Okay, not going to do one, because you know what? We've seen it a billion times. Next up, Dark. So, I call this comp the Summer 2021 Party at the Beach comp. Basically, there was a time in this game, and I've said this a million times, where Dark just dominated, right? Dark was it, and it was these two. It was Black Rose, Helena, Dwayne. You just ran them with something really high damage like a Ruinstern, and Mono Dark could just go destroy. So here's my setup, and one thing I really like about this comp is you have a lot of speed with Helena's vision card. You have a lot of damage from something like a Diablos, which gives dark attack up. That helps every dark unit in your group. And then you can run Omega right here for some HP, which is really nice, magic attack resist, which is nice, and then slash attack, which will help Dwayne and Ruinstern. So I think all the vision cards complement each other nicely here. What I'm building for is one-shotting. Like, I want a bunch of damage. Dwayne is only kind of a tank, and if we're going to talk about units in Dark a little bit, a definite drawback of Dark is where's the tank? And I know Whisper's sitting right there, but where's the tank? Like, I'm sorry, Whisper. Like, you're just not good right now. Maybe you get some love. I don't want to hate on you, but you're just not good right now. Dwayne, though, only has a little bit of hate. Basically, he's going to start the fight with some hate, which is good for messing with the enemy AI, but then you need to kill the enemy team quickly, because his hate will run out. They'll go kill your squishier units. For Ruinstern, specifically in this group, I think you have good TMR options on him. I really like Uldoa's Apron if you want to go for a more explosive comp, or I really like Zombie Ryu's TMR for the re-raise if you want to have a a chance to make up for a failure maybe. So let's say for this comp, let's do the zombie mask. Let's see if we can get a clutch re-raise to come in and save the day. Now I'm also going to run Promptu's wristband here, get me a little man-eater on physical attack. It gives me some spirit, and you can see that I have a lot of spirit with this and this, and then I could take this gear right here, run magic resist and high spirit, and now we're pretty decent against magic teams in theory. Obviously, though, the thing with dark is, okay, let's see, is this a magic team? Oh, baby. Okay, hold up, you guys. Here's a full magic team. It's triple element. It's a rainbow magic team. It's a Bara, Aerith, Elena. Let's fight it. Let's fight it. I don't know. We just lost our water fight. I'd really not like to lose 2 in a row because I think dark is in a lot better spot than water. Let's see how things go. We have spirit. We have a lot of damage. Helena's going to have a shield. Dwayne's sort of tanky. There's re-raise on Ruin's turn. There's the shield on, Black Rose Helena. I hate the courage buff, man. The courage is rough. Okay, Dwayne gives himself regen, or AP regen, so he's going to be in this fight. Aerith was not able to magic shield anybody early. There's a one-shot from Black Rose Helena, but courage kind of ruins our day. And then her shield saves her. So, can Dwayne hit her? No, she dodges Dwayne. That's really big. Here, we made the right call with that re-raise buff on Ruin's turn, you guys. We did it. Now, Black Rose Helena, I need you to kill him again. Oh, gosh dang it, he couldn't do it. Okay, hold on. This is really explosive. This is what I was talking about with this comp. It's super explosive. Dwayne, you need to hit her. This time, Dwayne lands his damage, and she goes down. And then, oh yes, Black Rose Helena with that speed gets us that kill. Aerith could 1v3 this, you guys. Like, it's not over. Aerith kills Dwayne. We need to kill Aerith. Black Rose Helena, she has a magic shield, so she can't kill her. She does lower her spirit. Ruin's turn, 7,000 damage, kills Aerith. That's what's great and bad about dark. We did a ton of damage, right? We were hitting people real hard. Dwayne got dodged once, which made things a little bit hairy. But when we landed our damage, it was very potent, right? Okay, that was really fun. I'm happy this comp won because I think dark is not terrible right now. It's not like it used to be. This is not the day where you can run like that exact comp, run a wall in Guild Wars defense, and no one will clear you. That doesn't exist anymore. But you can still use dark effectively. This is my favorite dark squad right now. It's really explosive. Like, man, whew, my heart's beating. Also, my heart's beating because this is a really long video. So, those are my favorite mono element teams for each element right now. Yeah, let me know what you think. I bet you there's some players out there who have teams that they like more. I'd be curious to hear what they are. Awesome, you guys. This is a long video. Thank you for watching. If you stuck with it, hit that like and subscribe button if you would, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.